hear it when the camera is recording, and I didn't realize that, so I was trying to do stuff with it without it recording, and I wasn't hearing anything. Then once I pressed the record button, all of a sudden I could hear everything. So I guess that must be it. I'll have to try it with my earphones too to see if it is indeed the case, instead of only trying my headphones. But yeah. So guys, let me do a little whispered ramble with some mic triggers, maybe some other triggers as well. I feel like I should do soft spoken because I just feel really far away, especially considering I'm doing mic triggers. Like, will they be able to hear me in comparison to the triggers? We're gonna learn a lot when I watch these testing out videos. Back. Wait a minute. Should I do mic brushing? Oh my gosh. Let's do that. Oh my gosh. Let's do the big feather brush first. That's really good. That makes a good noise. That makes such a good noise. Oops. We'll see how much talking I actually do, because these triggers are really cool. Oh my gosh, so cool. It's like a dog's tail. presentation role play for my advanced sales class. So we had to do it with our team members. So I had to do it with the girl who was a gross team member that I told you guys about already. So, and he had her go first. So, like, we went through the whole, like, sales role play with her first while he recorded it. And she, like, forgot all, like, a whole section of questions we were supposed to go through. And she didn't even talk about pricing. I had to say, like, well, what's the price? When she asked me for the deal, and I'm like, what's the price? And then she also, like, forgot, like, half of the intro. So I didn't feel like she did very well, honestly. But I was, like, being nice and, like, trying to help her along. And at the end of it, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll sign. Just to be nice and to help with confidence and whatever. Well, then I went through my roleplay, and I feel like I did a lot better, honestly. Like, I hit all the points, and I was, like, responding to her questions, and, like, I did everything he said to do in class. And then, and at the end, she was like, no, I think I need to think about it more. And I was like, well, like, are there any concerns you want to go over? And she was like, no. And she's like, maybe I'll talk more with people in the company. And I was like, well, is there anyone, like, you'd like to bring into this meeting? And she was like, no. And I'm like, so I stayed positive, and I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and set up that next meeting. And she was like, okay. So I feel like I did everything I could and did a really good job and had really good morale and hit, like, everything he said to do, and had, like, a really upbeat attitude and whatnot during it. So I feel like it was kind of like just her being a jerk again, honestly. But he said we're not graded on whether we get the deal or not at the end of the thing. We're just graded on if we did the steps. And, like, we did all of that. And I definitely did, like, the steps and did really good with everything else. I don't even want to say else because, like, that was out of my control. But so I think I should get a good grade on it. And then our sheets where we, like, review how we did, that's the other, like, half of the grade on it. So I'll have to, like, be really detailed with that. But yeah, and then I talked to the teacher for, like, must have been like 20 minutes afterwards, because I was just, like, asking, like, career advice or whatever. And I swear he always runs away from me when I try to give him career advice. So I feel like the only reason he was, like, chilling and ready to talk today, one, was because he was in, like, a sound booth box watching everybody's videos and bored. But two, maybe because he saw my video and maybe he thought I had more potential or whatever after watching the videos. I really don't know. But so I talked to him for, like, 20 minutes afterwards, and we talked about, like, the different companies that the school partners with and his recommendations and feelings towards all of them and everything. And then I looked, and in the sound booth he was using this microphone, and I was like, is that a Blue Yeti? And he was like, what? And I was like, the kind, is it a Blue Yeti? And he looked at it and he might be some of the best $50 I ever spent, not gonna lie. But yeah, so I'm still going through interviews for my job after college. So I'm trying to think of what all I told you last time. But so I know I told you that one company put me on hold because they didn't have openings in my location preferences. Turns out my professor hates that company, so that was kind of funny. I was like, oh well, I hope you don't hate my interview paper I wrote then, because I interviewed someone for that for the first one, and he was like, no, it's not that I don't like them, I'm just mad that they're still in our people when I have other corporate partners that pay to interview with these students, and then they don't do all that and get a lot of our students. I'm like, okay. But so that place put me on hold, and then one of the other places I interviewed with during corporate partner day was supposed to have a first call with me today, and half an hour went by and she didn't call me, and I'm like, do you need to reschedule? I haven't heard from you. And then she was like, oh, so sorry, I must have put you down for tomorrow. So I was kind of annoyed, so I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to get this out of the way with, get the ball rolling. So now I think I'm going to talk with her tomorrow. I was also annoyed because I would have slept in if she wasn't going to call. But oh well, spring break is next week. I should get a lot of sleep then. But I'll probably also do some spring cleaning. Then try to do things I enjoy. But yeah. So that was that place, and then I just applied for this marketing place. I think like the only marketing job I've applied for, well, for full-time work after college. Like I've applied for internships, but for full-time after work, like I've just applied to a couple of sales places, I guess, thus far. But so this was the first marketing place I applied to, and literally like 2 hours later they emailed me about setting up my first interview. So I scheduled one for the start of spring break because I thought I would rest over the weekend, and then I thought I could schedule follow-up interviews that week uninterrupted by work and school, because I'm taking spring break off of work to just enjoy myself and rest, because I feel like I've been overworked and overwhelmed the past, honestly, like this whole semester. I don't know what interesting. I don't know, so I'm like, okay, I'll call and get the info, but you know, not counting too much on that. And then I also just applied to like another sales company that came in and talked to us. So I guess I only applied to the one sales place that put me on hold, and then the marketing place that got back to me a couple hours later, and now I just applied to another sales place who came in and talked to one of my classes the other day. The other day. The other day. The other day. I can't wait to hear how this sounds. I'm so excited. Excited. I can hear the triggers, but I can't really hear how I sound. I can hear how I sound a little bit, but not much. Not much. If you're an ASMR artist and you have any tips for hearing both, let me know. Let me know. I guess it would be kind of weird to hear yourself loudly as you're talking, though. Right? But yeah, so hopefully the sales place that I just applied to will get back to me soon, too. Then hopefully I can decide between those 2 or 3 and make the right decision for me. But yeah, look at how cute that is. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. You guys like my sweater? I've worn it all of like 3 times. I wore it today literally just because our professor asked us to not wear hoodies for this recorded roleplay. So I was like, okay. Which is funny because my negotiations class also records us like every week, and I've been wearing hoodies to each of those. So funny. Also, you guys know my negotiations professor is the one who thought it was so funny that I didn't come the first half of the semester when he said we didn't need to. Well, I saw him when I was coming into one of my other evening classes the other day, and I was stopped to be like, hi, and he was like, oh, so there are classes that you show up to. I was like, oh my gosh, I was cracking up, I was laughing, like, oh my gosh, I love this dude, he's so hilarious. And it's funny because I don't know if he thinks I actually dislike his class or not, but I don't know, I don't particularly enjoy the class, but I love this dude, I think he's so funny. But I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that was hilarious. Hilarious. And I don't know, my negotiation approach for that class is very like indifferent. So like our last exercise, I actually walked away from the negotiation because he said we can, and like the girl was like not offering like any concessions at all, and I was like, yeah, no, we'll have to not do this then. And it was funny because I guess she needed 190 points and I only needed like 140. So like after we finished, she went to talk to the professor for a minute, and he was like, and I stayed just because I wanted to hear what she said, you know, I wasn't gonna have someone like trash talking my negotiation or something. And he told her like, yeah, like I want you to watch back it's cool because I already have this like indifferent image in that class, so like it's not awkward. Like I just am genuinely like honest and like, you know, not like, you know, jittery about it or whatever. Just because like from the jump I had this persona set in that class. But I don't know, I don't want to like explain too much of the negotiation. And also the girl I negotiated with stands next to me, so it'd be awkward if we're both explaining ourselves and we're like right next to each other, like awkward. So yeah, negotiations. We'll see how that goes. One positive though is I feel like I'm so much better at presenting now. Like I was so calm today in my roleplay. Like I kept a pretty good tone throughout it, and I hit the points I needed to, and I was just so much more calm. Like I used to be so much more anxious. And even this morning when I was practicing for it, I was like kind of like shaking a little bit and feeling jittery, but that was also because I hadn't eaten yet, and I just had like a couple donuts before going into it. So also eating habits are another thing. Like if I did better nutrition wise, like that would probably take care of some of it. But even having only had like a few donuts before going into it, I still was like so calm throughout it. So that was one thing. Like I've improved so much in just being like calm through negotiations or role plays or sales or whatever. So that's really cool, and I feel like part of that is from my fundraising seasonal job, and part of that is just from not seeing the point in a lot of things and just knowing that there's not too much writing on things in life, and that if you lose one sale there's always another, and that coming off as like you need a sale is the number one way to make someone feel like distrustful of you. So like if you just recognize that you don't necessarily need their sale but you would like it, and you can show that it can be a positive for them too, that they're more likely to sign, unless you have a jerk like the girl I was partnered with. Don't know what was her problem, honestly. But yeah, but yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so much fun with this mic. Going to have so much fun with this mic. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just having a field day already. Oh my gosh, it makes me feel so much more professional too. But yeah. But yeah. Still looking forward to resting for most of spring break. I did want to go somewhere like travel. I was thinking of going to Memphis for the soul music and art. But I mean, I don't know, flight tickets are just so expensive, and I have other expenses I have to think about. I have to buy my cap and gown for graduation. I have to pay off a few bills, and I have other things to pay, and you know, it just didn't seem to work out. So I don't think I'm going on a trip for spring break now. But I definitely should schedule one for right after graduating. Probably like a stadium tour, and I got tickets like very far away, so it's not like I'll be seeing them up close, but you know, still I think worth it. So I'm gonna take a little trip for that in the summer. Hopefully meet up with some people when I'm there. And then what else? Was that it? Me and my fellow service members have to go on a road trip 2.5 hours away this week to do our winter retreat. Like it's spring now. But yeah, the people we partner with make us all drive 2.5 hours away, even though our schools are closer together and they're in the middle of nowhere, and they have us come to this big old-fashioned weird looking mansion, like old looking mansion. And they have us come and do our meetings there. This is only the second because they dropped the ball on doing one in actual winter. Because like we're literally like going into spring now. We just had daylight savings. Which please tell me I'm not the only one who doesn't get daylight savings. Like I feel like it just screws everything up. Like I'm happy the days are longer now. But like what the heck? What you mean I lost an hour of sleep? Find it. I want it back. I feel like any sleep doctors or sleep scientists could have told people whoever started daylight savings not to do it. That it's not good for people. But yeah, so we have to go there, and then it's like an 8-hour day. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. Day after St. Patrick's Day too. So like, what if I wanted to go out and drink the night before? Like it's really kind of crappy of them to schedule the winter retreat where we're gonna be like working and brainstorming the day after St. Patrick's Day, and I don't even normally work on Fridays. Like it's just gross. But at least I'll get to talk with different service members since I don't really get that opportunity at my school. But yeah, I'm still watching Pretty Little Liars. It is getting crazy, guys. Crazy. Intense. Oh my goodness. Now I have to see what's going on with Ezra. Because now he's, you know, possibly more dangerous than Mona based on what they just showed. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I underestimated the writers. Maybe they do realize that he's sick. We'll see. So, yeah. And I need to watch the season finale of The Cleaning Lady now. I hope they get renewed. I hope. Also, y'all, the Obi-Wan Disney Plus series is coming out soon. Are y'all excited? Because hello, I am. I want me to see some Anakin Skywalker Vader, like Hayden Christensen. I was getting his name mixed up. But I need to see me some more of him, even though he's totally typecast in his filmography. guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you haven't already, please like the video, like the video, and comment down below. It helps with the algorithm. If you have video requests, you can always put them in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the new mic. And subscribe if you haven't already. Like, what? Subscribe.